You're on.
Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being held with the benefit of public notice as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. Carabelli?
Here.
Ms. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Whalen?
Here.
Mr. Reparo?
Here.
Mr. Todd?
Here. Would everyone please rise for the salute to the flag and the invocation? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please guide our path and most specifically our thoughts and actions. May we as elected and government officials represent fairly and with wisdom the township and its residents. We make these intentions and those in our hearts. Amen.
Amen.
So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. The format of this is relatively informal. My council colleagues know they can jump in at any time. I want the same to be true for our guests. Feel free to jump in if there's some point that you want to clarify. Judge, welcome. Jessica, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do you have any opening remarks that you would like to make?
Always me, she said. Well, first of all, both Jessica and I appreciate coming in. It's nice at least once a year for us to show up here and you guys get a chance to ask us some questions. And we can tell you a little bit, and if I'm going to talk first, I'm going to tell you I'm going to brag a little bit. I'm so honored to be the judge here in Hamilton Township. The municipal court people we work with are just stupendous. I encourage you all to come and visit us down at the court. I offer that every year. I'd love you guys to come in and see how a courtroom should work and how staff in the courthouse does work. We've now completed our first year and 3 months of our drug court. And if you recall, our drug court is called Opt for Help and Hope. It's a state-run program. 2 years ago, the Attorney General in New Jersey chose to use $2 million worth of the opioid settlement money that he got from the pharmaceutical companies to do a drug court in municipal court. It's been involved, drug court has, in the Superior Court for probably 30 years, but it's never been tried before in municipal court. You probably know there are over 500 municipal courts in the state of New Jersey. And the Attorney General decided to pick 6, and we were one of the 6 chosen. I tell people in court every morning when I start, I don't believe in conspiracies, I don't believe in misinformation or disinformation, I don't believe that the Attorney General got a big hat and threw 500 names in it and then one day picked out 6. I think he looked at 6 courts that were doing a great job. As I tell people every day, as residents of Hamilton, if they're there with me, they should be very proud that Hamilton was chosen as one of those 6 courts. In the last year, we've had now 161, I think, we have in the program, or had in the program, and we've now graduated 46 people. 65. How time flies when you're having fun. In any case, what that really means is those are 65 people who had acknowledged drug problems. We provided, through the money, the seed money we were given by the state, counseling and treatment for those 65 people, and they've all graduated now from our program. So they've shown proof that they are no longer addicted, and as a result, the program allows me to dismiss the criminal charges that they were facing. So I don't know if Jessica, I know she shared with some folks, here is the letter and email you got from...
I did. I shared with the administration.
Okay. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a mother and a child.
It was a husband and wife.
Husband and wife, I'm sorry. She got the email, I didn't. Where they thanked us for having now allowed them to have a wonderful life. That they had gone through years and years, decades of addiction. The one sad note in it, she said, was that apparently the mother had recently passed away and did not have a chance to see her child and grandchild free of drugs. So it's things like that that we hope we can do, and we hope we're doing. But again, it comes down to the staff. You know, I tell the people they should be very proud of the staff in Hamilton and the court, and I tell them always that the staff rarely gets praise. Generally, they get angry letters, they get angry emails, they get angry phone calls. And although this is an honor, I think, for Hamilton Township Municipal Court, the staff is the one doing the hard work there. And again, as they've done all the time with all the things I've asked them to do and Jessica have asked them to do, they just dig in and do the job. And I just can't be any prouder of them. Other than that, that is the main thing we're doing. We're being monitored through a group at Johns Hopkins University as to how we're progressing. And I'm going to imagine at some point in time the state's going to want to get involved in that monitoring as well. But what I understand from the last meeting that we had in the fall with the representatives of the state and with Johns Hopkins, our court of the six is doing the best in terms of moving people through the system and getting them the help they need. So we're very, very proud of that. Other than that, I can tell you from what I see every month is when I monitor money coming in, it's pretty much flat. I tell folks there's not much we can do with that. It's based simply upon tickets being issued by our local department. We get zero money of all the tickets written by state police. I had a long day today, about 3 hours and some minutes, because the state has started a cell phone while driving campaign. And so we had, well, I had, just telling Jess, I had close to 45 minutes on language line with the Spanish interpreter, just doing one Spanish cell phone ticket after another. And after all those that we did, we get $30 per ticket. I probably did 15 or so. So we got $450 for all the work that we did. And language line's going to take
Oh, $70.
$70 of it. So that's what we're dealing with. Nothing more we can do. We've been very fortunate, and the folks that we've hired, some of the new folks, they're crackerjack. They dove right into the job, and I can tell from talking to them how much they love working there, which I think is, again, a credit to the whole staff and Jessica. So I'm going to tell you I'm not going to talk much about the budget, since I really am just along for the ride here with Jessica. She does all the work. So I'm going to stop now and let you guys ask me some questions if you have any questions about the functioning of the court, and then you can ask Jessica more about the budget.
Well, first I want to say congratulations on the 65 graduates of the drug court. Drug court, is that what you call it?
Yes.
We call it Opt for Help and Hope because it's recovery court.
Recovery court, even better. And so obviously the big benefit is hopefully they're getting sober. Is there a legal benefit to the graduates?
Well, when they graduate, I can dismiss the criminal charge. So if they have a charge of failure to make lawful disposition of controlled dangerous subject or possession of drug paraphernalia, and included in the program is they allow us to do cases where somebody has a drug-related charge, and the best example always is a shoplifting charge, where the person may have stole infant formula, not because they have a child, but because infant formula is valuable on the street, and they can either trade it for drugs or trade it for money to get drugs. So the program carrot at the end of the stick, as we say, is that I get to dismiss those charges. Bless you. I get to dismiss those charges once they complete the program, and I'm given those recommendations from the counselors. I'm not involved in any of that treatment aspect of it.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome.
Jessica, did you have any remarks that you wanted to add at this time, or you just want to be available to answer questions?
Before I do that, I just wanted to thank council. I received your letter when my uncle passed in January, so thank you for that. It was very kind.
Thank you. Okay. So with that, we can just open it up to any questions.
I can kick things off. Thanks, Judge, for being here. Thank you, Jessica, as always, for all the work that you do in our courts. Jessica, just give me an idea a little bit. I looked at the staff. It looks like it's not changing. It looks like there's pretty much status quo, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so there's nothing really no changes at all. The one quick question I had was regarding the revenue side. If I'm looking at the 2025 current budget revenues, and I asked this in another budget meeting. So I noticed that there was municipal court and alcohol funding of 22,000, is that
That would be the DWI.
DWI?
Yeah, so we can only utilize those funds for DWI cases.
So do we expect any DWI funds this coming year in
We
2020?
get them every single year. I mean,
But we
have-
can't project for them in the budget?
No, because it changes a little bit, varies based on the amount every year, but it usually comes around May. But even with that, we have over $100,000 in grant money that carries over. You can keep
Okay.
using that.
But understand, it's to be used only for drunk driving special sessions. So
Okay.
we can use that money for a special session. For example, let's say on a Friday afternoon, that we have a case that needs to be tried, rather than using up 2 hours, 3 hours of a regular session doing one case, we can flip that, for example, into a Friday afternoon, and then that pays for the prosecutor, the public defender, and the judge.
Okay. I guess my question is more on the budgetary side, Kath. I just had a question. So we can't show the projections, though, on the 2020, for 2025, what that would look like for the alcohol and the municipal court, right? That number's going to fluctuate year to year. That can't be used as a, am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
It's not like we're not going to have it. It's going to be there in 2025. We'll see a number there when we look at it in 2026.
Right.
But-
In terms of the revenue, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. And so basically what we're allowed to do is anticipate the amount of revenue that
we did
collected
last year.
And that's generally what we do, right up until the point, unless we have discussions with them and they think that there's some reason why it may be less than that, for instance.
Oh,
right?
so you're saying, Kathy, then this 2025 budgeted number should be 22, we should actually have a number listed there.
Okay, are you talking about the grants?
Right.
The grants.
Yeah, the grants we can only accept,
Oh,
we can
it's a
only put
grant,
them
yeah.
in the budget when we receive them,
Right.
the award letter.
Okay.
If we look, that's why.
That's right, that's
when we
right.
introduce the budget, then the final budget.
Budget.
It's very.
But we can't anticipate them.
And we can't
right.
anticipate that
All right.
until we get the award letter, which tells us how much and that we're actually getting those funds, however that grant works,
Okay.
right? And that one is we.
You're going to yell at me at the end of this meeting, how many council meeting, budget?
No, it's fine, because there's so many different sources of revenue, so.
But I didn't know if it was a grant or if it was, if it
Yes.
was a source, okay.
No, and that's
Okay.
it. There's so many different sources of
Okay.
revenue, and so grants are done that way.
Understood.
You'll eventually see a Chapter 159 resolution because we add
Accept.
that to the budget
Yep,
for its use.
okay. But there's not a fear that we're going to lose that, like, we're going to apply for that money.
So,
We don't
yeah.
even apply for it.
We don't have to
It's
apply for it.
automatically-
That's one of the ones
Oh,
that
wow.
they do it based on a number of different things, right?
Yeah, basically, there's a baseline where there were DWI cases in Hamilton, and as long as we're at that level, the grants just
You're going to get,
automatically come in.
and this is is this a state?
It's state.
Okay,
I did
okay.
check out.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, good.
And where it's going to really help us is right now, there's a bunch of DWIs are being placed on a held status. It came into question the new Alcotest that they're using, the breathalyzer.
Okay,
And all those cases where a breathalyzer, well, for most defense attorneys, they're requesting that those be put on hold until the decision comes out, whether or not
Okay.
that device is accurate or not. So that money will help us because we have cases sitting and waiting until there's some decision,
okay.
which, what did they say? December, maybe?
Oh, no,
No.
no. If you want more information, I can provide it, but if not, I'll let it go. But basically, we won't have a decision on the case involving the 9510 Alcotest machine, I think probably, maybe even to a year from now. They just started last month, the initial briefing schedules where the challenges are being made before a special master. He has to take all the testimony, listen to all the information, look at the briefs, file his decision, and then it gets sent up to the Supreme Court, who also may require briefs, they may require witnesses, so we're not going to have a decision probably until a year from now.
So does that mean that the funding will be backed up, or?
No, it won't affect the funding,
Okay.
but it's those types of situations that funding helps. So we don't have to have extra sessions paid out of township money, that money we could use. There was a time where we had in 2020, we had about 226 DWIs over 60 days. I'm happy to report that number is down to 74. So we haven't needed to utilize those funds in quite some time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. That was good. Thank you. Thanks, Kathy. No, your O&E is pretty straightforward, and there's no real sizable increases at all that I noticed, so nothing really.
See, I told you my budget well.
I know you do.
Good.
Well, if nobody else has any questions, I'll thank you for joining us tonight.
It was a pleasure as always.
Thank
Easy
you so
enough.
much.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
thanks for, such a tight budget. It's a tough year this year, so thank you.
Well, I understood that coming in, and we said, we only are going to ask if we really, really need it. And honestly, right now, things are just running the way they're supposed to, and I don't need just the basics.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
Good night.
Judge.
Next up is the Department of Finance. No, I'm kidding, the Department of Law.
I was like, how's it now? Would it be the first time that we're called up to the bench and then sent back?
I will. Okay. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, we're on legal.
Alyssa, Jennifer, thank you for joining us.
Our pleasure.
Any opening remarks that you'd like to make?
I just wanted to say that I am on the record how thankful and proud I am of my department. No matter what gets thrown at us, and some wacky things get thrown at us on the regular, we were able to pivot, we were able to get it done, and handle it. And I think one of my crowning achievements was that I put the mayor on the stand under oath this year during trial. So you all are next. If you wish, we'll figure out a case. But I was able to satisfy a bucket list item for the mayor. So I guess that was a great year. Couple of things that we noticed in prepping for tonight's hearing. We still wanted to bring up the public defender reserve because there's still $240,000 in that account that is not probably on your list here. There's a separate account that monies go in from the courts when they pay for public defenders, and that money should be used to pay for some of our costs to cover public defenders and other costs in the court. So I just want to remind everybody about that. We can work with administration to track it, to really figure out, and I'm looking at Eugenia and Kathy, but there is a pot of money that hasn't been touched in a long time. So it might help, generally speaking. And everyone's looking at me going, what are you talking about?
I did notice that and this was in the court's budget, but the prosecutors are twice as expensive as the public defenders. Is this going to your point or not?
No,
Not
it's
exactly.
something, because the public defenders aren't there all the time, number one. So there's 10 sessions. We don't have public defender coverage at all, on all this.
Always,
Am I
yeah.
on?
That's true.
Okay. Right. And then the second issue is that the prosecutors are PSAs, we hire outside counsel to come in and hit some of the sessions versus our public defenders who are actually employees of the township.
Okay.
So it's two parts,
Apples and oranges.
a little bit. So the public this public defender account, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. Second of all, I did notice that when we were talking with administration and the budget, 27 and 28, so it's page 3, I think the monies that you've transferred over to us to cover Oprah litigation and arbitration has been counted twice. Now, given that you all are my client, I had to be honest with you, and I will tell you when there's something that is being double counted. So it's just something I want us to look at again. I mean, so the Oprah, the $15,000 from the clerk should be in legal services because that is outside counsel. The arbitration should be in other professional consultant because we had to pay for for the arbitrator, half of the arbitrator fee when we go to arbitration for things like disciplinary matters, perk matters. So that's just something that we need to double check.
Which, the 10,000?
Yeah, it looks like you double counted the 10,000 and the 15,000, might have been twice. So let's just go back and look at that just to make sure. Again, I'm not a finance person, I'm just the lawyer and I'm just trying to be honest.
Yeah,
Right.
we put them in two accounts.
It looks okay on quick glance,
All
but we
right.
can talk about it where you think it is, because for that line item, and if you're all following along, it's under 027, and there's a description, in the description, the detail piece of it, you can see that one line item for outside litigation, employee defense, et cetera, your department requested 90,000, and then because we pulled in those other two amounts from the two other divisions or departments equaling 25,000, we added that to the 90, and so that leaves you with the 115,000 for that.
Right.
So if your 90,000 had those monies in there already, but I'm not sure that they did.
Right, so I just want us to
Okay.
double check it to make sure it's correct.
All right,
Appreciate it.
yes.
Yeah,
Do.
don't hurt.
That was my anticipated, she anticipated my question.
You got preempted, Anthony?
I'm sorry.
No, not that I knew that the 90 was included double cost. No, I'm joking.
He's got more.
That was the gotcha. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
When he puts his glasses on, get nervous.
I never put my glasses on before.
As long as he doesn't get the ruler out.
And then the last edit or ask is that in 29, page 4, that's for our copier. We have since learned, we weren't sure at the time when we were budgeting. We knew at the time that our contract ends September 30th, 2025, which leaves 3 more months. So we were subsequently told to the making of this budget that we would try to go month to month until we get into the new building, when we all are sharing copiers there in the departments. And so we would ask for another $600 to be added just to cover the month-to-month cost. Otherwise, we don't have a copier until December 31st.
Makes sense.
And by the way, you're proud of your team, we're proud of your team too. I often brag about the work you guys have been doing over the past several years, helping reform government and, just methodically kind of bringing better government for Hamilton. So thank you, guys, for all the hard work.
It's
to you and
really
your
been an
team.
honor and a pleasure.
Council members, questions?
I don't.
Yeah, once again, we appreciate, it's pretty tight, tight budget, so.
We all brag about you, so there's not much to say.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was for you too, Jeff.
Thank you.
Just make sure I was here.
It does not appear that there are any questions, so I'll say thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Keep up the great
Thank you,
work.
guys.
Yeah, thank you, our pleasure.
Now, the Department of Finance.
You got a busy week.
We do.
Every day this week.
Hello.
Hi, Eugenia. Thank you for joining us.
I guess John is not part of finance anymore.
But I'm not moving.
I'm not moving.
I'm done.
No, just wanted to say thank you. We have had a very long year, and but it has been very rewarding. We enjoy working as a team and basically seeing how all the changes that we have made in the last few years how everything is kind of coming into place. You know, we were able to do the annual financial statement, meet the deadline, the annual debt statement, and, you know, we finished the bank reconciliations on a timely matter, and it has everything has been a teamwork, you know, not only from the department, but also working with administration, with budget purchasing, and all the other directors from the various departments. So it has really been a great year because of that. Great teamwork. And, you know, we thank you for all of your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the finance, the OE, you're going to see there is an increase in the operating budget for finance, and that is mainly because of the contract with the broker for the health services.
Yeah. Was that something that we bid on, or is just the?
Yeah, we went out for an RFP. And it was basically based also on the experience and performance. Any questions that you may have?
Eugenia, it's not a big number, but it's a big percentage, the overtime number. It's number 12. Actually, why does that show as a 90% increase? It actually looks like it's flat.
Maybe 90% more.
90% of the actual.
90% more than, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
And that is
budgeted and
mostly.
you just didn't use it last year?
Yes, and that is mostly, most of the overtime that we have there, and we use it is just because of payroll or any quarterly reports related to payroll or pension.
I know it's the same with printing and binding, number 23. Just, we didn't spend what we had budgeted.
Yeah. I'll just ask a general question, not so much on the O&E, but how is Millennium working out? How's that contract going? And do, you know, we're still aggressively seeking grants wherever we can. Any concern at the federal level and what that may look like for this year?
Millennium is working out great. I think probably Joy and Kathy can answer that because they are closely working with them.
They have, but, and I think that falls under administration, so Joy was probably ready
so it's
to
looking-
speak to that.
But it
It's
is
all
in
right.
our
Jumping right over you. No,
It is in finance
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is in finance budget, yeah.
so,
Sorry.
yeah, sorry.
No,
We'll
it's
get a
okay.
look. I'll ask it then.
No,
They're working okay, but we had to take a look and see what are the chances of the grants that are coming through that might be pulled, that we don't have an opportunity for. So, you know, I don't know what we finally came to, but, I mean, they've been really fantastic up until this point.
Yes.
So, and
applying for 2 for me just today. Millennium.
Good.
And And in the last 2 years, you can see, you're talking about the grants when we introduced the budget versus all the resolutions that you passed as Chapter 159. I mean, it's really, really, there's a huge difference. Like the year before, there was like $5 million that we had in grants that we had received. And we just had, last week, we had a rating call with S&P because we have the bonds that are coming due in May. And one of the questions that they ask is basically, I guess they're asking to everyone in the rating calls now is the ARP funds, because those are federal funds. And they were very impressed that because of how aggressive Hamilton has been, out of the $70 million in ARP money that we've received since COVID, we only have $2,300 that has not been spent. So we follow through all the deadlines, so there's no chance of really us losing any of that money.
That's great news, yeah.
Eugenia, it looks like you've got employees working toward certifications.
Yes.
How's that coming along?
That is coming along good. We have one of the employees that is now, which is a supervisor, and so it's going for the Certified Municipal Finance Officer classes.
Great. That's good.
We have to work on a succession plan.
Always good to have a bench ready for future. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah.
All right, Eugenia, thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
This next one's going to be a tough one, guys. We're going to go hard on this next one.
You're on a roll.
This is the, thanks, Eugene.
Well, I mean, there's so much you don't know about the clerk's office. What could I enlighten you about?
Maybe we should stop in more.
Please, the door is always open. Fred knocks, but you can just come on in. Your name is counsel on the door. But no, there's really nothing else I could add that you don't already see. The clerk's office has a fantastic staff, Helen, Brittany, and Danielle. Their work speaks for itself, so I really, if you have any questions, please feel free. I'll point them to John and Thomas.
I think we all appreciate you guys and the work that you do for us, for the township. A lot of important work for the community takes place in the clerk's office. So,
Allison, we're going to be one less employee, correct?
Yes, Kate has moved on, so yes, that is the one less.
And we've seen it down a little bit less, obviously, with the Oprah requests than what we did in the past. Would I be right to say that?
Oprah in '24, we ended with 2,413, and currently for '25, we are at 767.
Okay. Okay.
We're on pace.
Advertising has changed, right?
It is.
Advertising has changed. You still have the ability, even though the Times is not printing, you still have the ability to advertise online, which is just as expensive as print. So currently we are using the Trentonian just because of the print. In the event I do need 2 publications, I do have both those options.
Still the Times and the Trentonian.
Correct, but I choose a Trentonian because, like I said, it's
They
the
have a
print.
print edition still, yeah. Still kind of a local paper.
Don't have much of a choice.
Printing and binding costs have gone, well, no, you budgeted for 2,000 last year, 2,000 this year.
Yeah, we laugh about the ABC because we are printing the licenses. Many years ago, they printed the certificates and mailed them to us, so we get to pay for the paper and we still get to pay $3 to print that for them.
Guys, yeah.
Oh, and now we do issue ID cards for some of our licensees, which we didn't do in the past, like towers, for instance, and solicitors.
That's good.
So, you know, the machine and the cost for the ID cards.
All right, we can move on to the council budget.
Why, well, we have a clothing and uniform category. I noticed that line item. Do we have anything that there's nothing that, is that for?
was your shirts and your jackets that you received.
Years ago,
Nachos.
right?
That's 2023, right?
I don't even think,
I honestly, without
I don't even see it listed, it was listed maybe in 21. I think that's what,
What number is that, Ann?
all the way back in 21.
I
Oh,
had my eyes
it's
on it.
500 in that item.
I mean, it's 500, I'm just saying.
And they took it last year. They transferred it.
They got to transfer it, yeah, they had to transfer it.
Those ponchos we got were $40 each.
Okay.
All right.
Enough said about that.
And we got enough pins.
Oh, we have plenty of pins.
Good.
Didn't know once.
Okay.
Yeah, he put,
All right, Allison, I think you're off the hook. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
this is
We didn't grow you too hard.
per easy.
Kathy, Department of Administration.
Sir,
The little,
Any opening remarks you would like to make?
I don't have any opening remarks, but my
Joy may have.
part of
Joy, would you
capable
join us at
staff
the
is
table?
here, and Joy is going to help us represent.
Since you chose not to join us on the
And
dais.
Thomas is here to talk about budget, if you have questions on that division, and
I just wanted to add,
Can handle the
you had a
rest.
question. On the adopted budget, we have $1.1 million in grants
Eugenia,
throughout the year.
if you're gonna, we need it on a microphone.
You're only being picked up partially.
I just wanted to add on you had a question about the grants and how Millennium's working. On the adopted budget last year, we have $1.1 million in grants that we had received by then. And then throughout the year, we received an additional $3.3 million.
So, it's a nice chunk.
good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eugenia. Hello, Joy.
Hello,
Thank you for joining us today.
thank you.
Did you have any opening remarks that you would like to make?
So overall, for business administration, which includes information technology, I don't want anybody to feel nervous or scared because we did pull a lot of different budget from other departments. We took the Hamtech, sort of a one Hamilton technology team route. So we're now, my team, my Hamtech team is now overseeing fire and PD.
You're saying ham tech?
Hamtech,
Okay.
Hamilton Technology.
Got it.
So it's a big job that involves a lot of work and just IT in general with the new ways of people phishing and getting information and viruses and creepy stuff. There's a lot more that goes into it than even 5 years ago. And we need to stay on top of it. We have very strict rules with our cyber insurance and our JIF. And there's been some very unfortunate incidents around the country that we want to avoid ever happening. So it does involve putting some money into things. But we have the right team now, and I'm very excited about that.
Cyber insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Do they put some requirements as far as
They
in
do.
order to ensure you have to have certain measures in place?
They do. We have to have the Duo tokens. There's other,
Right, it's multi-factor, there's a lot of training involved,
Mhm.
that we have to meet their requirements for that before they'll just automatically cover us for cybersecurity. But we met all of those.
we did.
And Joy talked about all the changes there, but we also have additional staff in IT. We've hired an assistant director, there that is been helping to kind of just pull things all together, especially as we consolidate a lot of the other departments that had their own kind of IT coverage, and it did not flow well. It was very difficult. And not to mention that you'll probably want to take a look at the capital for IT as well, because there's a bit in there. But there were some past capital projects that still were kind of off in the distance and not getting attended to because there was so much work everywhere else. But now with the additional staff, they're focusing on those and have already started on at least 2 of the major projects that were kind of sluggish prior to this. One of them is the new phone system.
That will be done this week.
This week.
Yep.
Switching over to the new phone
Yeah.
system this week.
On the 16th, 2 days.
And the new phone system will serve us well when we move into the new building in a year and a few months.
That was a lot of work went into that.
Joy, can I, you mind if I ask? Under computer maintenance agreements, InnoWave, IonWave, what's that called?
IonWave?
What is that?
So that is the online bidding system. Did I say that right? Okay.
Purchasing, it's where we do all the RFPs and all of the bids.
Is this a new expense this year?
It's showing new in this budget. It is not new to us this year, because prior to this, and John, you'll help me out with this because you were the ARP fund guru, but I believe we paid for it through ARPA funds.
Oh, so we didn't see it in the past? It was
Correct.
covered?
So we had it, and it was just less than a handful of years ago that we went to this all-electronic process, which has been just so much more efficient, just fantastic. No longer, huge stacks of RFPs and bid specs that go out. It's all done electronically. We get more vendors that are giving us bids because they can do it from another state. They don't have to show up. They don't have to ship us their bid documents and things like that. It's all done online. And our purchasing department did just a great job in rolling that out a couple years ago and continuing to keep us all informed through that, because it was a little bit of a training for everyone else that within the township that uses it, not to mention the vendors. So they've done a super job.
Okay. Because I noticed that was the one item that was fairly
Yeah.
consistent over the years, and boom, it went up this year.
Yes.
So,
Do you mind if we jump to the capital budget?
I just have one other question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I did not, because the additional funds needed for the financial courses and things like that, that's for you, right? That's for the team to get up, the training needed to get folks up to speed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
That was answered. Yep. We're good.
Do you want to talk about your capital budget?
Sure.
Tell us about it. What are we talking about, the IT items?
yeah.
So I'm looking at 145,000 in items.
Mine is
I mean, am I
fine.
misreading this?
Honestly.
That's it.
You then
Yeah,
recommended to us.
112,500.
I'm sorry, 112.5, requested 145.
Why can't I find it? It's not under budget.
I can't find it either. So.
Well, it's technology, page 1, that doesn't help.
It's the second page.
It's just
Yeah.
the second
number
page.
Oh, yeah, it's
Mine is
tab
also
8,
sideways.
second page.
I know, you gotta hit the little,
No, it doesn't work on mine. I don't have the right version.
You want mine?
No, it's okay. I remember it.
There's disaster recovery replacement and door access control conversion.
The disaster recovery, so that's the backup for the whole, everything that's on our network. So we need to have a recovery in case that goes down. What was the second one?
The door access control?
Yeah, so with moving to the new building in 18 months-ish, we're going to have a door access system that is nothing like the one we have here. It's going to be very advanced, and it takes a little bit of a while to learn the software on that. So we want to install it, get a year of practice on it and really, not here, we're not doing anything in this building, in one of our external buildings, like the call center or Public Works, one of the buildings that's not moving.
Keeping, yeah.
Yes.
So put the state-of-the-art system there.
Yeah, so we're going to need it anyway, because we want everybody to be on the same page when we have the new building. So we're just kind of getting ahead of it so we can really know the ins and outs when we're in this beautiful new building.
So you're financing these two items?
Yeah, they'll be under the capital plan, and so when it comes to funding for that, it'll go as we spend it if need be, right.
Not a ton of borrowing.
No, so as with all of the capital areas, you know that we really pared it down this year, just in anticipation of having to have large amounts in there.
Right.
In other years, next year or the year after.
With the
both
municipal building?
With the municipal building, right. So,
Okay.
just to control our debt service. And for computer replacements, and what are you doing this year?
For the computer replacement program?
Yeah.
100,000.
Right, because we have that in our capital
Yeah.
already, yep.
And that's to also to incorporate needs at PD that we didn't.
It's part of the capital budget also?
So I think it's in our regular budget, and it's, didn't we put in monies again, a capital outlay?
I believe it's not capital outlay, we were gonna take it from something like.
Capital improvement fund.
improvement that we had built up.
Oh, so you have a fund, you can tap into that for the...
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a
I see.
reserve that we have
So you don't
there,
even
so
have
we
to
don't
borrow.
have to fund it,
Yep.
right? And so for what we've tried to do in the last couple of years for what I want to say smaller amounts compared to the millions of dollars you pay for roads and things like that, those things we have to fund, finance through bonds and such. But for the smaller piecemeal things that we have in there, we try to take some of those out and just pay cash for them, basically, from reserves that we have.
Now, there are limits on like how many years you can go out on these kinds of items, right?
Yes,
Like-
that's what happens too, that they look at, we'll put all of these items in basically one bond ordinance, right? And so they do an average of the life of everything that's in there, and that's how long you can bond it. So if it ends up you have a 20-year road, but you have a 10-year piece of equipment, they'll average that out based on a weighted average of that.
Oh.
So you may end up with a 17-year life on the whole ordinance, right?
Lump it all together, one issue.
Right. Correct. That's how it works. And with the market being so volatile, right, we're really watching it kind of very carefully because the bond market is as volatile as the stock market right now.
5-year
So,
treasury, something about percent,
Mhm.
the interest rate.
It's been going crazy.
Yeah.
So up and down.
Okay. Okay. Well, what else? Office of the Mayor.
Yeah.
All right. You welcome.
Joy, are
Thank you.
you're done?
I'm done, I'm
She's not
administration.
mayor, so we'll talk to that one.
I'll stay for now.
Nice job, Joy.
Thanks, Joy.
Thanks,
Well
Joy.
done.
The mayor's office has the mayor's and Hampstead.
He's cut his salary.
I saw that.
Yeah, he retired, that's why.
So for the mayor's office, there are some additional salary and wage in there, and there are 4 existing staff that we had to find some funds for because they're grant funded, and those grants are in question as to whether they'll continue.
I didn't realize we had grant-funded employees
You
in
do.
the mayor's office. Well, in the mayor's office, though. Well, most of them are in health.
Yes, most are in health, but Ava, well, she's from one of she's in the mayor's office, but is, was funded by one of those grants as well, so.
So throughout this budget, any employees that were funded through federal grants are going to essentially be protected under this budget
So I don't want to say any of them. We're waiting to see on some of the grants because we're not quite sure of the status
Yep.
of them. And some of the positions, particularly in health, were always, when they're grant funded, they're temporary, they're not permanent employees. So it may be that we eliminate that position. So we haven't really done that for certain yet because nothing is certain yet on all of those.
Okay.
And some of those have been, that grant money's been really helpful in reaching underserved communities, folks who don't speak English,
Yes.
getting the services out to those communities who might not otherwise
Yeah.
participate in the programs.
Yes, so we're trying to save the programs, but we don't have the magic answer for all of it. And not knowing exactly what's going to happen with the funds yet, we're just sort of playing it by ear. Some of them, we absolutely did add some additional funds in for a portion of the year, just to try to cover it until we know.
Can I ask you a question? So, when it says there's an amount requested, and then it says administration recommended, it's under the mayor, so did the mayor cut himself?
Apparently so.
For which one?
I mean,
No.
seems kind of funny.
What item?
Oh, 11 on the under the mayor's page?
That was what they requested. Oh, yeah.
So the mayor cut himself, essentially?
The mayor gave them, the admins recommended more than was requested.
Huh?
For requested.
The mayor
That was-
requested 311, and then the mayor recommended himself to go down 40,000?
Actually, I think
That's in
this year,
Hampstead.
he gave, the mayor was not the first
There's all-
part of the budget process. It was Kathy and Joy.
Oh, we had a retiree.
I understand it's still under the mayor, it's just funny.
Yes.
Just making a joke.
But
That was good.
But I would tell you, yes, he would cut himself because he treats his department just like he treats everybody else. So he's fair in his slashing.
So there's hiring to be done, and do you have a time frame on when you're going to backfill that vacancy?
In Hampstead,
Yeah.
so I believe it's been done and it's been with somebody internal within.
Oh, good.
And
Okay.
so have we backfilled the opening that Lindsay left when she got promoted?
Yeah.
We did hire somebody, that's right.
Did the transfer
Yes,
from?
yes.
It's all been buttoned up.
We have.
All right.
Just earlier this year. Yep.
No, you don't have anything in capital, do you? I don't think so.
No. No, he would have cut it right out.
That's because I don't have the separation.
We'll just take them out.
Okay.
They're in there. So I was looking, I seen you on that.
Oh, they're blue.
I know that they're close. See, it's in the wrong.
Some, you had a question on, Chuck?
Oh,
Just trying
You're
to,
looking at something.
is that still in?
Animal control for everything.
What's that?
That's under another
Equipment?
capital.
Department of Health.
Another Department of Health.
Yeah. I'm ready for that. Anybody else have anything? Yeah.
We do have one capital item. It was under budget and purchasing. It's for a new postage machine. Those things really take a beating when you
Aha.
do a lot of postage.
The other one lasted 9 years.
You know, they have
That
those
isn't
little
bad.
manual stamp letters.
Oh, boy, try that for
I just
how
ran
many
over
tax
90
bills?
90 times 90,000.
This was like completely out of warranty and maintenance, and
Yeah,
needed to
we
be
won't even
replaced.
support it anymore.
Yeah.
If you do it by hand, you'll be paying a carpal tunnel syndrome bill. Either way, you're gonna lose something.
Workers' comp for everybody, yes.
So, good. All right, well, unless anybody else has anything, anybody else have anything they want to add? Any other, Kathy, on this? You can just see.
I have a blue
These
pen.
two are having a sidebar. Let's just see if they have,
But I have one, you want
No, I'm gonna borrow those.
anything else, guys?
it? No, sir.
Everybody's good? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
This meeting's adjourned.